Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Everybody getting ready for a long weekend. For some, weekend has already started. You're not here, so for those, darn it, good for you. For those leaving early, that's great. For those just having a 3-day weekend, fantastic. Morning, Chuck, Ron, Mike, Dean, Gavin, JW, Thomas, Tom, Gregor. Hey, Mark, Al, Mai. How you guys doing? Beautiful day here. We're finally not going to have some rain, I think. I'll tell you, this has been very one rainy place here in the Midwest lately. Okay, so it doesn't look like I'm getting my gap up here, does it? But it's pushing higher. So let's go. Let's see what can happen here. The number one thing, absolutely the number one thing is let's not get too cocky into this. This move here. Let's get rid of this line, and we'll just get rid of this line for now. Yeah, let's not get too cocky into this. Don't get too long out there. Don't get set in your ways. I just cannot believe this is a bottom. I just do not think so. However, I do think we could, we're in the midst of a relief rally, and a relief rally can be more than 1 or 2 days. Look at this relief rally back here before we failed to the downside. So let me go to a little cleaner chart. There we go, a little cleaner. So you can see here, we pulled up, made a high, pulled back down, and just skip all this. We made another high. And then here we started down, and you can see this relief rally that just continued to that downside. Another one continued to the downside, another big relief rally, and then continued to the downside. We need to, and if you'll notice, each one of those little relief rallies here never really took out a high that mattered. For instance, right here where we failed, needed to come up here to about 457. That's what it needed to do. Anything below that is don't trust it. Here we pulled back a little bit of a relief rally. Up we went. At this point, now we needed to get through 460. Until that happens, don't trust it. Right through here. Now let's talk about what we need nowadays, right now. Going forward, I should say right now, in the very near future, we need to be above 428.30. Before we can do that, we need to be above this 408 area. So above 408, stabilize, retest these candles up in here, because you can see that we have a high, we have a higher low, a lower low, and we try to rally, but it couldn't do it. So this is going to be an important level. Here we're down, we rallied, but couldn't do it. And then we pulled back for a double bottom, which is cool, but now we need to get through here. I mean, this is setting up a chart pattern, and it could absolutely do that. And just because we get above 408, if we do, doesn't mean, doesn't mean everything is rosy. So we need to get that series of higher highs and higher lows. And really, we don't even really have that right now. This would be the first one that I think looks any good whatsoever, is if we can get above 408 and stabilize, and then a shallow pullback. And I can't, I'm just put an arrow right here, but a little shallow pullback. I don't know that that's where we're going to go. And then we need to take out that high, and then, continue to do that until we take out this 428. Now, if we take out this 428 area, I got to tell you, I'm going to have to be a bull. I'm really going to have to be. But until then, I'm going to be a little bit. And see if we draw that trend line in there, where we intersect right in here. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for, to get over that trend line. So anyway, That's my story. I'm gonna stick to that. Oh, and by the way, to the downside, let's see here. Let's go back to this chart. To the downside, let's just take a look at the weekly chart. We still have the dotted deuce, which we're bouncing off of, and you've got the 200 period moving average here on the weekly chart, which I still think is a viable target eventually. And then the 200 period moving average, that's right in here, and I'm not sure that this price action in here gives us a whole lot of support. I got to tell you, I'm kind of feeling more down in this area here at 419 and 300 maybe. So I think there's still more downside. So let's not get too carried away here. It's fun. These relief rallies are really, really fun. T2122, sorry to carry on about that so long. T2122, we're up here in that overbought area, so be careful with that. If you start to see this climb to the downside, you want to just double check your charts. And all this stuff, we talk about T2122, I talk about T2123. All that chit chat, all that talk is fine and dandy. All you got to do is follow the trend. That is all you have to do. We'll talk about MACD sometimes, but really, all you got to do is follow the trend. All you got to do is follow price, just like that. So anyway, so today it's Friday, and it's very typical on Friday that I don't have any particular trade ideas. So the room is open if anybody would like to post something out there. And while you're doing that, I'm going to just poke out a few charts here that I have a scan looking for charts with a nice uptrend based on moving averages, AZPN. I think this is still a beautiful trade. Just because I say this is a beautiful trade, it does not mean that it is a buy today. What I'm looking at here, I can tell you exactly what's on the scan. I want this is all simple moving averages for the most part. I want the 10 simple rising for 5 days. What's this one? I want the 20 rising for 5 days. I want the 50 rising for 20 days. And then I'm just using a below the highest high in the past 5 days. So just simply looking at those charts right there. Here's CVE. That's what, if you're a very simple way to trade is just these strong trending charts. Watch for these little shallow pullbacks, and then I like to see the buyers coming in, and you can go back and look at this chart. Every single time you see buyers coming in, it jumps higher. Buyers coming in, it jumps higher. Buyers coming in, it jumps higher. Doesn't mean you can't have these down moves and things like that. Trading is not smooth. Trading is not perfect. All right, Thomas. Thomas has one here, DBA. Thank you very much, by the way. DBA. So overall, the trend is really nice. I like the trend. Kind of an ugly day this morning, right? So, it's just a matter of waiting for those buyers to come in. One of the best charts I think somebody could have out here is a chart like this right here. No price on it whatsoever. While we love price, sometimes price can get you in trouble if you're trying to make too much of it. There's really nothing to make of it. It's just it's just a little indicator. It helps you when a group of buyers, because one single buyer doesn't do anything, but when a group of buyers move into it, excuse me, it shows you that it's moving. When buyers move out of it, price shows you that it's not moving up anyway. And I look at this chart here, I think that's a fantastic chart. So just based on this chart, I need to see price sort of settle down maybe, because we know what price looks like, right? I'm going to put a line right there, come back over here. So if I start seeing buyers move up, well, that might be what I look for. Another thing I would look for on this is maybe this is not worth a turkey's dern until it breaks out at 22.92. One thing we have to remember as traders, and this gets between our ears and we can't let go of it sometimes, you don't have to buy a doggone thing cheap. You know, this whole business of buy low, cheap, that's a bunch of bull. Because if buy low, cheap is in the midst of a war, it kind of looks like a war through here, doesn't it? Wait till it gets out of the war. Wait till it gets out of the dust storm. Wait till the tornado passes, and then trade the trade. So I love what it's doing trend wise. Maybe a little choppy for me. I apologize. Didn't cough, didn't cold. EPD, that's a nice chart right here. That's a beautiful chart. Look how we've run up, we've pulled back, we formed a low here. We've actually got a nice little bullish W pattern setting up. We've broken over that bullish W pattern. So now, now the big thing is, well, do you buy it before the breakout or above the breakout? And I'm afraid that's dealer's choice right there. That's dealer's choice. Trade what you want to trade. Some traders are going to wait for the breakout, which might be a better idea. Some traders are going to buy here, put a stop on, you make a little bit of money. I'm not going to fault anybody at that. But overall, the chart looks fantastic. Let's take a look at this, just the moving averages. Look at that. So if you see a chart like this, absolutely gorgeous. Now it's just a matter to get better at those entries. And do you enter, this is where we put our box. Do we enter, early on that breakout? And I wish I could tell you there was a best way to do it. I think generally speaking, the best, I think most people would say the best trade is let it break out and test, test this area right there. And then that gives you the trade right in there. But a lot of people are going to buy that here. I mean, clearly, look at it. People are buying it. So nice. Let's see. I'm going to go over here real quick. What was that? TTOW. TTWO. TTWO. TTWO coming off the bottom here. Target wise, that's the first thing I want to look at. And being a moving average trader, I have to look at some of these. So right there is what I'd be looking at. I'm not going to look any further higher because you have to reevaluate up here. Low, high, higher, low. We're working on the higher high. That's a nice chart. Bullish engulf in here. A series of dojis. We've got a little pop out of the box. It's a nice little chart. So, I hear all the time, well, where do you buy it? Well, how about right now? And how about establishing rules? Let's do that. So a good rule for some people would be a buy over 125.32, and that just takes it over this doji right here. That doesn't make that the perfect entry. Doesn't make it at all. Why not buy it right here? Set your stop. Make money on the way up. Take profits on the way up. And in this market, you've got to be a profit trader into strength. Or this market, it will wait for you to step away from your desk, go to the bathroom, get a glass of water, and it will clean your clock. So profits on the way up and stops. Don't let trades get you down. Take those losses soon, because let's go back the old days when I used to say, when is $100 loss good? When you finally take the $500 loss, you're going to wish you took the $100 loss. So nice chart, by the way. Let's look at this SAFM. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to chase here? That just makes no sense at all. When I see a chart like this, by the way, I think this is probably the best chart in the world to put on your watch list and wait for it to come back to you. Because clearly there's some excitement going on here. Clearly there's buyers that want this. So it just gets a little bit out of hand. That's definitely out of hand. You don't want to, I don't care if somebody said, hey, this is going to 212. This just makes no sense to buy it right here, none whatsoever. So let it settle down, let it set up. Whether you use, T-line, or whether you use a trap or whatever you use, maybe you don't use any of that. And this chart, it may be very possible you don't get any of that. But what you will get may not be today, may not be in the next couple of days, but you will get this. And who knows? It may run higher before that happens, but you will get it. That pullback and then that start to curl up. And that's what we want to look for. Let's see what else we have here. NGR. Thanks for posting these, guys. NRG, excuse me. NRG. Here we go. What is this? A nice 3/8 trap. Let's get rid of this. So for those that have TC2000, I don't know who has or doesn't have, you can do things like this with it. So, I mean, say you're using a total naked chart, just price action, nothing else. You can put things up here like this that tells you, yeah, that's a 3/8 trap. You don't even have to see the moving averages. So this is kind of a cool thing here. So here we are moving sideways. I have to tell you, I don't particularly like the bearish candles here. So here's a chart where I think we have to be above those bearish candles right in there. So nice trend. Everything's looking good here. I'm not a fan of buying this one down here at all. Down here. I'm not a fan of that at all. What I would be a fan of is break yourself on out and then set up for us. Just like that. Watch for those buyers. And now we can do something when we put this pattern behind us. Like I say, I do not like those two candles right there on that one. CEIX moving up nice. You can clearly see there's a little bit of resistance here. So no matter where you buy it, you know what it's got to cover. A T-line run is when price stays above the T-line for a number of days. I've never put a number on that, but if I had to, I would say 3-4 days, you can start to call that a T-line run. So let's just take the T-line right here and just draw a line underneath it like that. Let's move it a little closer. Just barely underneath it so you can still see the T-line. There you go. So now all of a sudden you can see the buy possibility, a trap, just not a 3/8 trap necessarily, which it is a 3/8 trap. So the buy possibility right in here. Also the buy possibility on a breakout right there. Anything below the T-line, I wouldn't want it. Just would not want it. I would want to be out of it. Absolutely, no hands down, no questions asked. Anyway, so okay, here, let's call this a morning, and I'll see everybody back here in about 19 minutes when the market opens. Remember that Monday is a holiday, so today definitely might be super payday for everybody. Let's go see what the SPY is doing real quick. Now, like I say, I'm not getting my gap up that I kind of was hoping for, wishing for, but we're holding into strength here. I did buy some SQQQ puts yesterday, right at the close, and they seem to be working out right now. So I will be taking profits, and I will be 100% cash. The only other position I'm in right now is DKNG. And that seems to be working out, but I will close it out today. I may place another trade today, but it will only be a day trade. It will be 100% cash going into this weekend. I just don't have the stones to hold anything over. We'll see everybody in a little bit when the market opens up. You guys all take care, and thank you very, very much for being here.